I was standing on the edge of the roof, counting 3, 2, 1, ready to jump and kill myself at the end of the count, while my 12-year-old daughter Adele was watching me from the garden without me even knowing.
And that's because I couldn't get rid of the painful sound in my ears that took control of my mind and my life. The sound of a train screeching to a halt.
And when Adele started screaming, "Daddy, Daddy!"
I couldn't even hear her. I was as good as deaf in my right ear, with a throbbing headache and cold sweat down my cheeks.
When I saw Adele's tearing eyes, I took a step back, got on my knees, and burst into tears. I never wanted to scare my family, much less my daughter, and I will never forgive myself for making Adele be part of this. Yet, that precise moment sent me on a completely unexpected 18-month journey through the dark underbelly of the trillion-dollar pharma industry controlled by elite powers, which led me to discover a completely natural and incredibly efficient method to clear your hearing again. A method that removes tinnitus and reverses hearing loss while protecting you from memory loss, brain fatigue, migraines, and preventing serious diseases such as dementia, Alzheimer's, or Parkinson's. This simple 10-second habit will completely change your life, allowing you to regain your tranquility, perfect hearing, and mental clarity in less than a month. First, know that you are not broken, as the pharma industry wants you to believe. It's also not your fault, as some doctors might have told you. This brain scan uncovers the real cause of hearing loss, tinnitus, headaches, memory loss, brain fog, and fatigue. Today, I will show you how all of these problems are experiencing a giant warning sign that your brain is in serious trouble. Here's a hint. You don't actually hear with your ears.
Hi, my name is Brian Jones, and the incredible story you're about to hear is my own. Embarrassing, but completely sincere. In the next 4 minutes, I'll show you where the hellish sound of tinnitus really comes from, how certain people lose their memory and hearing because of it, and why this ailment has nothing to do with your ears, but with something incredibly disturbing that's happening inside your brain at this very moment.
And once you'll find out the real cause of hearing loss and tinnitus, not only will you restore your hearing and stop the ringing, roaring, and whooshing in your ears, but also fight and reverse the strange phenomenon that's taking over your brain, an early indicator of other disorders like memory loss, amnesia, dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. This trick works so well that it doesn't matter if you are 20 or 80 years old, if you've been having hearing problems for 7 days or 40 years, or if you suffer from any other medical conditions. This clinically proven, simple method works 100% of the time. Even more amazing is that you won't need anything else like hearing aids, dangerous chemical-filled medications, painful ear flushing, risky surgeries, or useless sound therapies. This simple method sent shockwaves across the medical establishment and the social elites, and brain doctors now see it as a miraculous key that acts as food for your brain cells and unlocks brain rejuvenation, not allowing your brain to weaken and thus reducing the disease associated with it to zero.
Yes, I know how incredible this sounds, especially if you've been suffering from hearing loss, tinnitus, memory loss, or severe headaches, thinking there's no escape whatsoever. That's why it's absolutely crucial that you watch this video until the very end, because in a few moments, you will be able to regain your life and feel normal again.
No more headaches, dizziness, or nausea, only clear sounds. No more constantly feeling angry and depressed. Forget the dreadful sleepless nights when you were praying for just a second of silence. Today, you can stop your tinnitus dead in its tracks and reverse it forever, just like I did, and more than 50,000 other people all around the world. In just a few days, our hearing started to clear. A few days later, our mind was suddenly quiet like a Zen monk, followed by better hearing, better memory, less fatigue, zero dizziness, crystal clear thinking, better focus, and here's the best one, being able to sleep all night long after decades of insomnia.
No, I no longer worry about tinnitus, hearing loss, memory loss, or brain disorders anymore.
Pay close attention, because this remedy unlocks hidden instructions that repair and rejuvenate your brain. That's the real power behind the solution. It can significantly decrease your risk of serious brain disorders like memory loss, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and dementia, first reducing them and then eliminating them completely. This is all tested, even guaranteed by the most capable doctors in the world, to which only the elites, the government, and the heads of state have access. So let's stop that horrible sound from further degrading our brain. You'll no longer have to struggle at work, trying to figure out what your colleagues are saying and asking "what?" all the time, or pretending that you're focused and serene when that piercing buzz is following you everywhere. It's time to regain your social life, to be appreciated once again, to be able to relax and go out with your kids, friends, and neighbors, even in the noisiest places, and to enjoy your favorite music, even without a loudspeaker, just like Julie G, 63.
It worked! It worked! Oh my God, it really worked! I was just about to implant a hearing device when I came across your video. I was so afraid of it that I decided to try your method. Thank God I did. I haven't been so happy in years. To hear this well again is nothing short of a miracle. I can finally sit down with my family at the dinner table and listen to my nephew's funny stories. Watching your video was the best idea I ever had. I love you, Brian.
Or Scott C, 67.
I suffered from tinnitus for 11 years. It was really bad. A lot of panic, depression. I couldn't accept the thought that I would always hear that whistling in my ear, and I couldn't make it stop. Nights were the hardest. I woke up 5 times a night without being able to fall asleep due to the sound. Until I saw your video, Brian, which changed my life. It feels so good to have peace and be able to enjoy a good sleep. I support you in your noble endeavor to help people, and I recommend it to everyone.
Or Mary L, 44.
My biggest problem was sound hypersensitivity or hyperacusis. Loud sounds would trigger the whistling in my ears. If an ambulance passed by me, I would be done for the day. I ended up wearing earplugs every time I stepped outside. The day I discovered your method was an eye-opener. Today, I have no sensitivity and I feel how my brain works much more efficiently. Recently, I was promoted and got a supervisor job with more pay. This method deserves an award.
Now, I'm sure you're curious to find out more about this groundbreaking method. So, let's begin. In just a few minutes, you will discover 3 mind-boggling secrets. 1. How the social elites and governments all over the world are secretly getting rid of their hearing loss, tinnitus, memory loss, and supercharging their brains. 2. Why pharmaceutical giants and drug manufacturers are willing to spill blood in order to keep hearing loss and tinnitus sufferers away from it. And 3. How exactly you will finally achieve the peace of mind you deserve and restore your hearing in the next 20 days.
Hi again, I'm Brian Jones. I'm 56 years old and I live in Omaha, Nebraska. I've been a gerontology teacher at one of the biggest U.S. universities for over 20 years now. This story is even more embarrassing for me because I've been working in the medical field for so many years.
I've spent my life teaching our students how to improve the health of our great nation and how to be good people in the process. I'm always surrounded by brilliant colleagues, teachers, and doctors, but also by outstanding students who immediately noticed my strange behavior. And you know what? It wasn't even my fault. The problem was the crazy noise in my ears that deteriorated my hearing and kept me distracted from any other activity.
At the same time, I want to confess that I've often attended and contributed to a few medical breakthroughs and life-changing treatments. But none of them compares to the hearing loss and tinnitus remedy I'm about to reveal to you.
It all began 9 years ago, on a Monday, while I was giving a lecture in gerontology. The paralyzing noise came out of nowhere. I first assumed it was the neon lights in the classroom, as they were pretty old, or maybe too much noise from the students. But it wasn't any of that. Prayers, meditation, and sleep failed to make it disappear. The cold, metallic sound was not coming from the outside, and it was glued to my ears, no matter where I went, while real-world sounds were fading. After 1 week, I started to get really worried. I couldn't sleep well, and I couldn't concentrate anymore. I was more jittery and unwell. One day, I even asked my wife if she could hear what I was hearing. She looked at me strangely and told me I was working too hard. Then, I thought I had an ear infection, I took some anti-inflammatories and waited for it to pass. But after a month of torment, I realized I couldn't continue like that. I went to the best doctor in my city, who was also a very good friend of mine. Initially, I was afraid to tell him what I had, not to think that I'm crazy, and to tell my colleagues that I hear all sorts of imaginary sounds. But I bit the bullet and did it, convinced that he'll know how to end this folly. Little did I know, this was just the beginning. Dr. Thomas Wright checked my ears and did a lot of hearing tests, including an audiogram, and he told me, "Your ears are perfectly healthy, Brian." I have to confess, a lot of people are complaining about ringing in the ears these days, and the truth is, chronic tinnitus does not usually come from the ears.
I remember wondering if he thought I was crazy. But what he showed me next left me speechless.
Tinnitus is not an ear disease, a bacterial infection, or a virus, but a symptom of a hidden condition, and you're dealing with chronic tinnitus, but unfortunately, we have no clue what exactly causes it. I could not believe it. Everything I thought about the power of medicine, the incredible progress we made, and we still didn't know where this disturbing sound came from? And my friend was no ordinary or careless doctor, he was the best. I was so angry. The only thing the best doctor could tell me was, "We found nothing physically wrong with you." Yet, inside my brain, at that very moment, something was dead wrong. "What about my hearing loss?" I asked. Thomas handed me a prescription for some pills to help with the stress and advised me to rest more, even taking a vacation to unplug. It was clear he wanted me to stop asking questions that he was incapable of answering, and that would probably have only embarrassed us both. So frustrating. How could one of the best doctors and a good friend leave me like this, especially after telling me my ringing was just a symptom of something worse? And if I was so healthy, where did my tinnitus and hearing loss come from? So I started reading and reading and reading. Most studies said that tinnitus and hearing loss are caused by exposure to loud noises, but that wasn't my case. At our university, there are some noises, but not very loud ones to cause something like this. I started taking the anti-stress pills recommended by Thomas and thought, maybe I should learn to live like this, and with a bit of luck, in time, this too shall pass.
As time went on, it became worse, from pretty annoying to power-drilling annoying. Sometimes I even heard 3 different sounds all at the same time. There were also sensations of blood pumping through my ears and veins. My nerves were so burnt out and my hearing so poor that I once yelled at my daughter Adele to put the forks on the table, even though she was next to me.
As my time went on, I started realizing that my mind was deteriorating. My memory began to slip. I found myself in the middle of a university classroom without knowing what I was doing there. I started using everything I heard from other doctor friends, from the forums, from the studies I read, but before I tell you what led me to escape from this horrible and shameful moment of my life, I'll tell you everything that didn't work for me, so you don't waste your time and money. Hearing aids. They simply mask the noise in your head. They're very costly and uncomfortable. To me, it was like adding another pain, so no. Sound therapies. These offer very temporary relief, if any at all. Prescription medicines. Helps with headaches, but has no effect on tinnitus, hearing loss, or memory loss. Herbal remedies. Nothing. My tinnitus was as loud as ever. Acupuncture. Nope. Did nothing for me. Meditation. I couldn't even get there anymore with the sounds in my ears. And antidepressant medication, which made me feel like a zombie. Unfortunately, a zombie with ringing in his ears. After all this, I became so stressed and scared of everything that was happening to me, ashamed and worried as my family and my friends might believe I was crazy. So, one day when the sounds were at their loudest, when blood was pumping in my veins and when I wasn't sure where I was, I climbed on the roof of the house counting 3, 2, 1. The moment when Adele saw me from the garden and started to cry.
My heart breaks as I remember this, but you have to understand me. I was so depressed and confused. I really tried everything, and I work in the field of medicine. I could not bear such a failure on my part.
My wife, my colleagues, and friends didn't understand me, as they couldn't physically hear what I was battling with every single second. At times, I thought I was crazy and felt so miserable that I didn't want to live anymore, not even for my children. Looking back now, it was an inhuman choice that probably made me seem like a monster. It's embarrassing, I know, but you've never seen your craziest side until you've got a 24/7 buzzing sound in your head. I was angry, lonely, and helpless, furious at the U.S. government for spending millions on bad publicity about table salt, but not spending a dime to support people with tinnitus or hearing loss, even though 1 in 5 Americans suffer from one of these. But mostly furious at myself for not being able to find something with all my medical knowledge. Deep down, I said, there has to be a real alternative out there, and I was going to find it. And because in the U.S. I had already spoken to most doctors in the field, I only had one college friend I didn't contact, Bob Ryan, a neurologist who lived in Ireland with his wife. In the hope that he might know some treatment in Europe, I called him and got close to something that would finally change everything. That would end up giving me and over 50,000 other people their peace of mind and life back. After I told him about my tinnitus, hearing loss, and memory problem, Bob told me, "You need to know about Dr. Joseph Barnes. Search for him on Wikipedia. He's a well-known Irish scientist and doctor who worked for many years in Africa and founded the International Community for the Relief of Suffering and Hunger. He ran one of the most detailed studies on hearing loss and tinnitus ever, and has clearly shown, using increasingly sophisticated brain scans, that hearing loss and chronic tinnitus goes much deeper than you ever imagined, right inside the brain. Specifically, rather than being a problem of the ears, it's a problem with the connections between your brain cells."
Finally, the first true explanation. So I kept looking for this Irish doctor, and I found out that he is one of the most loved and appreciated doctors in Ireland who strongly stated that hearing loss and tinnitus comes from the part of the brain that processes sounds, called in medical terms the auditory cortex. I felt I was close to finding out the truth, yet something was missing. As a medical teacher, I realize when there is a gap or when someone omits something intentionally. My only chance was to find Dr. Barnes.
I called Bob, and he told me to come visit him in Ireland. Because Dr. Barnes was very old, 100 years old, and avoided online media as much as possible, all I had to do was pack my bags and leave. Said and done. In 3 days, I was in Ireland, where Bob was waiting for me at the airport. When I got there, he confessed it was very difficult for him to get me a meeting with Dr. Barnes because, apart from his age, he felt very weak and avoided talking to anyone outside the family. But because Bob was also an extraordinary doctor, whom Dr. Barnes appreciated, he agreed to see all 3 of us for dinner at one of the restaurants near his house. When I met Dr. Barnes, he made some doctor jokes, and then he started telling me how he recreated the tinnitus circuit during an open brain surgery. And the result was mind-blowing, as tinnitus traveled through all brain areas. Like your hearing, it extended far beyond the ear and far beyond the hearing specialized part of the brain. Thanks to this experiment, he discovered that tinnitus and hearing loss is a disease of the network, the billions of neurons that connect in the brain. In other words, that buzz you're hearing is the buzz of the communication lines, and a jam in the communication lines lowers the intensity of outside sounds as well. These communication lines are called synapses in medical terms, and when your synapses are not functioning well, they cannot relay information properly from one brain cell to another, leading to weak brain signals. Then, Dr. Barnes told me, here's a test. Have you ever heard in your head that high-pitched, screeching sound you sometimes hear over the phone? That's the first sign that your synapses are deteriorated. Any disturbing sound in your head means the signals are wrong. It's a sign that the communication lines are jammed, overheated, or weakened, and need to be fixed fast. Otherwise, one by one, the communication network breaks down, brain cells disconnect, and your brain shuts down completely. You can consider your hearing loss and your tinnitus an emergency alert that will soon be followed by memory loss, anxiety disorders, dementia, chronic fatigue, severe headaches, Alzheimer's, and all because of a simple failure in brain connectivity.
As he told me about all this, everything became clear as daylight. I had to do something before it was too late, for me and for all the American people tormented by hearing loss and tinnitus, who are not even told the truth about these diseases. It was obvious that I didn't have time to waste. I had to act urgently. So I asked Dr. Barnes, "What can I do? Please help me. I have seen so many doctors, professors, researchers, and alternative medicine experts, and nothing. In America, we don't even know what causes tinnitus or hearing loss." And Dr. Barnes explained to me,
Brian, they obviously don't know, and it's not their fault. The tinnitus and hearing loss industry controlled by Big Pharma is a $50 billion industry, not to mention all those fancy supplements that promise to increase your brain power or all the expensive drugs for headaches. Why would they allow a cure when they can take your money for the rest of your life? I was angry now. I had been working in the medical field for so long and I hadn't even noticed all these things. Then Dr. Barnes continued, "There is only one remedy that gets rid of these diseases, and it is used only by the top 0.2% of the world's population, the most important people, those millionaires who have access to top secret information, while others contribute daily to the enrichment of the CEOs of Big Pharma while staying with suffering and disease for their entire life." I got to my feet and shouted, "This is intolerable. We have to do something, please." I begged Dr. Barnes, "You are my last hope, and the last hope of millions of people who are suffering." Then he said to me, "Because you remind me a lot of myself when I was younger, I'll tell you more about this treatment. But please be careful. The elites of the world might come after you. I'm too old already, but you have to protect yourself and your family." Then Dr. Barnes told me he'd suffered from hearing loss and tinnitus for years before creating a special protocol which cures tinnitus, hearing loss, and memory loss. That is why he had written so much on the subject. Studies like the ones I read but always seemed to me somehow incomplete. And he said to me, when the government heard that I wanted to perform open brain surgery to find out what caused hearing loss, tinnitus, and other brain problems, they helped me, giving me funding. And of course, I was happy to sign a contract with them. But then, as soon as I discovered the remedy, they took it away and silenced me, saying they owned my discoveries. Suddenly, I understood why nobody moved a finger to find a remedy for hearing loss or tinnitus. Then Dr. Barnes continued, "This special formula works incredibly well. It cured me in just 7 days of tinnitus, hearing loss, and memory loss, and stopped the symptoms of brain network disease. It protects your intelligence from any brain disorder and can even increase your IQ by 10 or 20 points. That's why only members of the government, politicians, big corporation officials, and heads of state know about it. It is not in their interest for everyone to have a clear, quiet mind and a high IQ." Hearing all that made my blood boil. 1 in 8 Americans have tinnitus or hearing loss problems. Their life is a living hell. Many of them are severely depressed and think about committing suicide. So Dr. Barnes explained to me very clearly, if they ever release this protocol for use by the general population, it will be obscenely expensive. I don't think it will happen too soon, because their financial interests are protected by keeping you focused on the problem.
I felt like I wanted to cry. And for the first time in years, I understood what was happening. And I felt hope that I could actually save my life and the life of those with the same suffering.
Just like you, I was extremely curious to find out what this ultimate anti-tinnitus and hearing loss formula was. What could possibly make it so powerful to not only fiercely fight tinnitus or hearing loss, but also start repairing and rejuvenating your brain cells and protect them against memory disorders? Pay careful attention now, because the following information comes from top secret medical research to which the general public has no access to. Here's a short explanation of the secret ingredients used by Dr. Barnes and how they work. But first, Dr. Barnes warned me, it's 100% effective only when you use all the ingredients combined in these exact same ratios to get the best possible results against hearing loss, tinnitus, and brain disorders. Without adequate preparation, the whole ritual is pretty much worthless. That's why a lot of supplements don't have any effect, and this is something that no one will tell you. Because, as Dr. Barnes said, Big Pharma's interest is to keep you on the hamster wheel, not solve your problems. Through his experiments on the brain, Dr. Barnes realized that the first common link across all cases is chronic inflammation of the nerve cells. As you age, the nerves and tissues in your brain get inflamed, which causes increased pressure inside your skull. This leads to network failure and is the cause of hearing loss, brain fog, headaches, memory loss, and ringing in the ears. And he knew that the best ingredient to completely calm down the nervous system is a certain species of hibiscus, one of the 230 species in existence. This particular one is only found in the Kunlun Mountains in Tibet, and it was absolutely essential to combine it with hawthorn berry, garlic, and specific B vitamins to repair years of brain deterioration. This powerful combination acts like a super steroid for your brain, helping it grow and develop, feeding your brain cells, and creating the space they need to repair themselves. You'll notice thinking faster, better, and more clearly. Soon enough, you'll enjoy the sharp memory of your youth, instantly recalling every name at the party or obscure facts that practically nobody knows. After that, Dr. Barnes said, I wanted to make 100% certain that tinnitus, hearing loss, and all the pain, discomfort, and frustrations that came with it never reappeared. That's why he recommended a few of today's most potent and proven ingredients, including green tea, juniper berries, and vitamin C. Juniper berries are designed to clean your brain of toxins. Green tea multiplies your critical neural connections, and vitamin C shields your brain against tinnitus, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and even tumors. Then Dr. Barnes warned me, there are so many counterfeit and cheap imitations of all of these ingredients. That's not an exaggeration, it's a fact. He tested 97% of the available natural extracts of green tea, vitamins B and C, herbs, berries, leaves, and more. And that is because he found fake ingredients derived from chemicals and not natural sources. In other words, that green tea extract you think you are buying at the health food store will not deliver the same amazing results that real green tea extract will.
After Dr. Barnes told me all this, I realized that I would not be able to make the formula as effective as he did, no matter how hard I tried. He knew the exact ratios. He knew the order of the ingredients, the type and variety of each plant that is best, how to source for purity, and most importantly, he had done this before.
As you can imagine, it took months of persistently following up with Dr. Barnes to recreate this super potent formula so hearing loss and tinnitus sufferers everywhere could benefit. We both knew how incredibly risky it was, as we could have lost our freedom and even our lives, but we did it anyway. To help millions of hearing loss and tinnitus sufferers get their hearing, their memory, and their lives back. We had the formula, the medical knowledge, and a lab all to ourselves. We searched the whole world through our scientific connections and only worked with certified producers and verified suppliers, making sure that for our recipe we used only top quality ingredients. It was exhausting. We secretly worked night after night, testing until dawn, making sure that we got the right quantities and the most effective combination of ingredients, and in the end, there it was. My hands were shaking as I was finally holding that formula that would stop my hearing problems and bring my life and dignity back. If this tiny natural pill was the most effective treatment to hearing loss and tinnitus, it would be a miracle.
Of course, I was the very first one to try it.
After the first pill, I didn't feel a thing, but I was buzzing with hope. The second day, something changed. I started feeling less anxious and more relaxed. On day number 4, my tinnitus had gone from power drill to moderate, and I started hearing people around me much more clearly. Then, Dr. Barnes told me about the 4 stages of the formula. Stage 1. In just a few days, your hearing starts to clear. That awful ringing and whooshing noise grows quieter as your brain networks are repaired and your nervous system calms down. Stage 2. Your normal, quiet mind is back, and your hearing improves. You can kiss that horrible sound goodbye, as your brain networks are now strengthening by the day. Stage 3. Your memory grows stronger. You will see so many improvements, including crystal clear hearing, improved memory, less fatigue, zero dizziness, more clarity, better focus, and here's the best one, you'll get back to sleeping all night long. Stage 4. Your brain is supercharged as cell regeneration kicks in. In this final stage of your brain repair and recovery, you get your healthy life back. You're no longer worrying about tinnitus or hearing loss or brain disorders anymore because your brain is being reconditioned for perfect health.
I was even more shocked at how quickly my head and ears started clearing up. On week 2, the horrible ringing was almost unnoticeable, and my depression was quickly lifting. By week 3, all of my tinnitus symptoms had disappeared, and I had a full volume in my right ear, which used to be almost deaf. Not only that, but my brain fog went away, and I was sleeping through the night without any problems.
So even though my tinnitus and hearing loss was gone, I kept taking the pills for another week just to see what would happen. By week 6, it was like I had a brand new brain. My mind was sharp, I could focus easily, and my memory was crystal clear. Also, my old migraines had disappeared completely. And it wasn't just me because, seeing my progress, I gathered a list of 63 people I knew who suffered from various levels of tinnitus or hearing loss and asked them to discreetly test out our special formula. Every person accepted immediately because no one needed to leave their house as I personally delivered the pills. They each received a form to report weekly on their progress. I was prepared to wait for at least a week for the initial reports to come back. But what happened next was amazing. After 3 or 4 days, I was getting calls from everyone in the study, claiming their tinnitus was so much better and their hearing volume was now full. They couldn't believe it. So I encouraged them to stick with taking their pills and continue tracking their progress. When I went to collect the reports, the results were astounding. Not a single person reported noticing the high-pitched or low-pitched ringing in their ears anymore, and everybody cleared their hearing in less than a month. They also reported the disappearance of their heartbeat pulsing through their veins, which was an added bonus.
Judging by my own miraculous results, I had anticipated most of these successes. But when I heard that one of the participants in our study had this early onset memory loss diagnosis reversed, I knew I had a big mission.
I decided, with the blessing of Dr. Barnes, to produce the supplement and make it available for everybody who's tormented by hearing loss and tinnitus, regardless of Big Pharma's interest. We called it Synapse XT because it is the only product in the entire world which restores your synapses, removing all brain problems such as hearing loss, tinnitus, memory loss, headaches, fatigue, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson, and more. Now that you know my story, you're probably asking, how can I get this amazing supplement? The truth is that getting the right ingredients to make this powerful anti-tinnitus and anti-hearing loss pill is challenging. As I said, 97% of the natural ingredients on the market are either fake or filled with pesticides. Also, the people who have tested our product and regained their full capacity of hearing keep asking us for more bottles for themselves, for their families and friends, or just to stock up in case we won't be able to provide anymore, and to make sure that they will have the power to fight tinnitus and hearing loss for the rest of their lives. Plus, there are an impressive number of people who don't have tinnitus, hearing loss, or memory loss, but just take the supplement to rejuvenate their brain and improve their IQ, emptying our stock in just a matter of days. Moreover, Synapse XT is carefully produced only in small batches that take up to 6 months to deliver. This process is essential to assure that the quality of the product is 100% effective. And don't forget about Big Pharma, who are already hunting us like mad for ruining their profits from innocent people who are desperate to get a minute of relief.
Since you've educated yourself with this video today, in the next few minutes, you'll find out how to get your hands on a brand new bottle. And before that, I want to explain to you how you should take Synapse XT.
First, you should take 2 capsules of Synapse XT on a daily basis for at least 30 days. There's no doubt your mind will be quiet in less than 3 weeks, and your hearing will be at full volume in less than a month. But it's essential for you to go through the 4 stages I told you about to significantly decrease your risk of memory disorders and feel how your brain is being supercharged and regenerated. In which case, it could take at least 75 days to treat the deterioration caused by the damaged brain networks, which means 3 bottles of Synapse XT. Or, and this is the most popular choice among the people who contact us, if you want the best chances against memory loss or other brain disorders while treating hearing loss and tinnitus, a 6-month supply of Synapse XT is all you need. Nobody in the world cannot estimate exactly how damaged your brain networks are at this point, because this depends on many factors, such as your medical history, how old your hearing loss or tinnitus is, your overall state of health, and lifestyle choices, etc. So, as a rule of thumb, after seeing the positive results of more than 50,000 people suffering from hearing loss and chronic tinnitus, we recommend taking 6 bottles or more to be completely safe for a period of 90 days. This should be enough to completely regenerate your brain, supercharge and protect it against tinnitus and memory disorders. It's a fact, since many people have confirmed the results with such dramatic success, like Robert P., 72, Pennsylvania.
I'm 72 years old, and I started to lose my memory ever since I was 65. I soon developed tinnitus, and in the morning, I couldn't fall asleep anymore because I was starting to have strange sounds in my right ear. My daughter is a neurologist, and she's always taken care of me. 4 months ago, she brought me this treatment. I took 2 pills for 3 months. Today, I feel better than I did when I was 40 years old. Besides the sounds disappearing, I can easily remember things from 50 years ago, and I even started writing a book. Thank you.
Carolyn T., 60, Detroit.
I have to confess that I didn't believe for a second what you were saying, Brian. Just take 2 pills a day to end tinnitus, hearing loss, and other brain disorders? Please, it was my son, the one who insisted I take them. It was really depressing being that hard of hearing relative that annoys everyone at family gatherings. I also had mild tinnitus in one ear. Horrible. Now I'm still pinching myself when I wake up in the morning and I hear the birds chirping. Also, the ringing is gone and the memory is better. I really feel blessed.
Charlie M., 58, Kentucky.
My wife was preparing to learn sign language. After years of struggling with hearing aids, she was almost deaf. The doctor told her there was no hope. We tried your method out of desperation, and it's been amazing ever since. I can't believe we're both listening to our favorite music again. All thanks to you, Brian. Hope everyone finds out about this.
People are getting their lives, peace of mind, and hearing back as we speak, using a completely natural and side effect-free supplement. And all it takes to quiet your mind is 2 pills a day. It's now obvious why Synapse XT is the only efficient option to successfully treat hearing loss and tinnitus. Nothing else out there is proven to work.
You could go to a doctor who will torture you as it happened to me. Then you will try all the solutions I have listed, hearing aids and prescription medicine, and you will come to the same conclusion. Nothing works. The disease will progress as you become more frustrated, agitated, and depressed. I can guarantee that the so-called alternative methods such as meditation, acupuncture, teas, which are actually all fake herbal extract, are not strong enough to treat hearing loss, tinnitus, or to heal your memory and brain. All of these are a waste of time, energy, and money, and you know it. They won't get you well in a million years. Unlike Synapse XT, that can get the job done in less than 3 weeks while keeping you safe from future brain disorders. You can understand why Dr. Barnes and I initially wanted to set the price of Synapse XT at $380 a bottle. All the ingredients are natural, most of them quite rare and hard to procure. Plus, this special formula is designed for the root cause of tinnitus, which is a life-threatening disease of your brain networks, one that could eventually lead you to severe memory loss and even dementia. Also, add on the cost of seeing a specialist in your area, including the tests and scans he'll make you pay for and the drugs he is going to prescribe to you. Given all of this, $380 a bottle should seem like an incredible offer. But as I mentioned already, Synapse XT is not about making a profit. Sure, it would be nice to get paid for our efforts, but if we wanted money, we could accept Big Pharma's proposal right now, shut down our website, and make millions from licensing exclusive use of the formula to them.
But we don't want their filthy money. All we want is to help you and people like you get better. That's what my story and mission meant from the start.
I wish this miraculous product existed before I tried to kill myself and traumatized my daughter for life. But I can't change the past, and what matters now is that after receiving emails from people who can't afford Synapse XT, I knew I had to find a way so everyone could afford it, which is why there's no chance I could consider charging you anywhere near $400 for this. And because you're watching this presentation, if you act today through this website and make the life-changing decision of investing in this extraordinary anti-tinnitus and anti-hearing loss weapon, Dr. Barnes and I have agreed to give you the only effective treatment that allowed us to finally hit the mute button on tinnitus and hearing loss for only $69 a bottle. But do you know what? I'm going to make this deal even sweeter. Because I know how hard it is to live paralyzed by that hellish sound day after day and night after night, I've set up a discounted package system of 6 bottles of Synapse XT for you for only $49 a bottle, for a total of $294, which is being offered today only for as long as supplies last. Once we run out of bottles, The Buy Now buttons will not be active anymore until we make another batch again, which takes around 5 to 6 months at least. Click the 6-bottle package or any other package that you want below to secure your order. Consider this the smallest but most powerful investment that you have ever made for yourself. Yes, 1 bottle of Synapse XT might shut down the ringing, roaring, whooshing, blood-pumping sounds and restore your hearing. 3 bottles might be enough to rapidly restore your mental health, help with brain cell rejuvenation by 15 years or more, while getting rid of your migraines, insomnia, and brain shrinkage.
But 6 bottles of Synapse XT could make your brain immune not only to hearing loss, tinnitus, but to memory loss, amnesia, and dementia. Just imagine being independent and free from old age problems. You could turn 100 years old like Dr. Barnes, and your mind would still be sharp as a tack.
Click the order button below after choosing the best package for you, and you'll end up on our secure checkout page. Enter your payment details, place the order, and in less than 7 days from now, you'll get Synapse XT delivered to your home. Click the button now. It's the only way to secure your package while supplies last. You have absolutely nothing to risk because you are also covered by our 60 days, 100% healthy or money back guarantee. Start taking this groundbreaking formula. See for yourself how your ringing becomes less and less intense until it eventually vanishes, how your anxiety and panic attacks fade away, how you are finally surrounded by silence again, and how you finally can enjoy every sound you want to maximum volume again. Just like our more than 50,000 satisfied customers found out.
And if you are unsatisfied for any reason, never happened, but just in case, send me an email and I will buy it back from you, no questions asked. We'll still be friends. You have nothing to risk at all. Like I said, this is a 100% risk-free investment.
So click one of the buttons below to get started on your journey of becoming tinnitus-free and restore your hearing in less than 1 month. But please, know you really do have to act now. We are offering Synapse XT for just $69 and even cheaper if you are getting our more popular packages, just to put this amazing product into the hands of more people. But we are planning on raising the price back to $179 a bottle and possibly much higher in the future. Because here's the weird thing. When I tell people that you can easily fight hearing loss, tinnitus, and brain disorders in practically no time and for less than a visit to a specialist, well, most people think it's unbelievable, as if there's something fishy going on. It just sounds too cheap, especially if you have been struggling to cure it with your doctor's prescriptions or with who knows what other methods. Our mission is to spread Synapse XT to as many people as humanly possible, and the big dream is for tinnitus, hearing loss, and brain disorders to be a thing of the past. But if people find it hard to believe that you can get such incredible results for less than the cost of a visit to a specialist or a meal with your family at a restaurant, then we'll have to raise the price. Not to mention, we don't know how much longer we'll be able to hide from Big Pharma's threats. But if this website is still up, it means you can still get Synapse XT if you act now. Click to make your choice below, enter your payment details, and place the order now. You'll gain access to Synapse XT, which will arrive at your doorstep in a matter of days. Listen, when you think about it, you really only have 2 choices ahead of you right now. Option 1, stop following this presentation and leave this page. Do nothing. Keep going the way you are, with that crucifying sound following you everywhere, risking permanent hearing loss and serious brain conditions. Frustrated that nothing works, spending hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars on useless therapies, living with your tinnitus for the following years or decades, losing your hearing and your memory. It's not going to be pleasant. Option 2. Grab Synapse XT right now while risking nothing at all today, and you'll be surprised how well it works. Just click below to make your choice, enter your payment details, and place the order now. We'll immediately ship your bottles directly to your home.
I'm waiting to hear your success story very soon. Yours, Brian Jones.